Have you ever felt like you're working incredibly hard, maybe even, hitting those success markers, but there's still this inner hunger, like something isn't quite right?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe you find yourself stuck in loops of miscommunication, maybe in relationships or at work, and you're just wishing for, I don't know, a better way.
That feeling is so common. And many people do grapple with that paradox, right? Being busy, super busy, but not really effective. Or maybe finding that professional success feels a bit hollow without that genuine personal happiness.
Yeah, or rich relationships. It really makes you ask that fundamental question, what is true effectiveness anyway?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. Welcome everyone to the deep dive. Our whole mission here is to give you that shortcut to being truly well-informed. We unpack powerful insights.
And not just the what to do, right?
Exactly. We dig into the deeper why behind lasting effectiveness. And today, we are exploring the profound wisdom of Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah, and it's so much more than just a how-to guide. I think Warren Bennis called it a remarkable book about the human condition.
That's high praise.
It is profound insights, and honestly, it's a book that has genuinely changed lives. It really lays out a discipline for our personal dealings that's just invaluable.
Helping us sort of integrate everything, personal, family, work.
Exactly, in a way that feels, holistic and actually sustainable.
Okay, so where does Covey kick things off? What's the big fundamental shift he asks us to think about first?
Well, he starts with this really core distinction. He talks about the personality ethic versus the character ethic.
Okay.
So for a lot of the 20th century, he argues, the focus really shifted towards that personality ethic. Outward techniques, communication skills, causative attitude.
The surface stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's about appearance, and sometimes, let's be honest, it can feel manipulative, even a bit superficial, like symbol without substance, as he puts it.
I think we've all seen that. Or maybe even done it ourselves occasionally. Trying to fake interest or using that power look to gain an edge.
Right. It's about getting mileage out of behavior rather than focusing on the genuine motive underneath.
So what's the alternative then?
The character ethic, and this is rooted in really foundational principles, things like integrity, humility, fidelity, courage, justice, patience, basic goodness, really.
Deep stuff.
The deep stuff. It emphasizes that true, lasting success isn't about those quick fixes or, manipulative tactics, like Emerson said. What you are shouts so loudly I cannot hear what you say.
So if your character is fundamentally flawed, any technique you use, no matter how clever, it just won't work long term. It breeds distrust.
Exactly. It sounds a lot like the law of the harvest, doesn't it?
It really does. You can't cram on a farm. You don't
No.
skip planting in the spring, fool around all summer, and then suddenly expect a big harvest in the fall.
You reap what you sow. There are absolutely no shortcuts if that deep integrity is missing.
So true success, what Covey calls primary greatness, it has to come from building on that basic goodness.
Precisely. And this naturally leads us to understanding our paradigms.
Our mental maps.
Exactly. Covey defines a paradigm as a model, a theory, a perception, or frame of reference. Essentially, like you said, the way we see the world. And he famously says, the map is not the territory.
Oh, that analogy clicks instantly. You wouldn't try to navigate, say, Chicago with a map of Detroit, would you?
Right. You could try harder, be more diligent, even speed up.
But you just get to the wrong place faster.
Exactly. And even a positive attitude isn't going to help you find Chicago if you're holding a Detroit map. The fundamental problem isn't your behavior or your attitude. It's the map itself.
If your map's wrong, everything else is kind of pointless.
And what's truly fascinating here is how powerfully ingrained these mental maps are. Covey uses that classic optical illusion, the young lady picture.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
It's amazing, isn't it? Two sincere, totally clear-headed people can look at the exact same, drawing the same black lines, the same white spaces, and see completely different things.
And the crazy part is, both can be right.
Exactly. It's incredible how quickly our past conditioning, our experiences, shape what we see first. It's not always logical, it's psychological, and it's very, very real.
It really shows how our paradigms just dominate our interactions. When someone disagrees with us, our first instinct is often, what's wrong with them?
Right. But as this illusion shows, sincere people simply see things differently. Each person is looking through their own unique lens shaped by their life.
So if we want, significant change, quantum change, as Covey puts it,
We need to strike at the root of our perceptions, like Thoreau suggested, not just hack away at the leaves of attitude and behavior.
that's the paradigm shift, that fundamental aha moment.
Exactly. A change in how we see things, which can then bring about these profound, almost spontaneous shifts in how we act and live.
Okay, that makes total sense. Change the map before you change direction. So
Yeah.
once we get the power of our mental maps, how do we start applying this to our own growth and our relationships?
Well, Covey then introduces what he calls the maturity continuum. It's a progression.
Okay.
It moves from dependence to independence and ultimately to interdependence.
So we start out dependent, obviously,
Hmm,
like a baby, needing others for everything. That's the you paradigm, he says.
that's it. Then, hopefully, we move to independence, the I paradigm. This is about self-reliance, making your own choices, thinking for yourself.
Which feels like a huge goal in itself, right? Very liberating,
Yeah,
especially if you felt controlled before.
absolutely. It's a vital step, a worthy goal. But here's the crucial insight Covey offers. Independence isn't the final destination.
Ah, okay.
The highest level, the most mature level, is interdependence. The we paradigm.
We.
We. This is where you combine your own efforts with the efforts of others to achieve something greater together. And it's a choice only truly independent people can make.
Because you have to be strong on your own first.
Exactly. You recognize that life is inherently interdependent, and combining forces, synergizing, leads to something far greater than just individual effort alone.
So independence is necessary, but it's not enough. You need to be solid individually before you can truly collaborate effectively. And that connects to Covey's inside-out approach.
Precisely. He really stresses that private victories, things like mastering yourself, moving from dependence to independence, which are covered in the first 3 habits, they must come before public victories.
Public victories being success with others.
Right. Success in teamwork, communication, relationships. He says you can't invert that process any more than you can harvest a crop before you plant it. Lasting happiness, real success, it doesn't come from the outside in, it starts inside.
Okay, that's a powerful foundation.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another core principle he talks about, right? The PPC balance. Comes from that old fable.
That's right. Aesop's fable of the goose and the golden egg. It's a fantastic metaphor.
So the golden eggs are P production, the results we want.
Yep, the desired results. And the goose is PC production capability. That's the asset or the ability that produces those results.
And true effectiveness is balancing those two.
Exactly. If you focus only on getting more golden eggs, maximizing production right now, and you neglect the goose, the asset, well, eventually you lose the asset. And then, no more golden eggs.
It's the ultimate don't kill the golden goose idea, but applied to everything in your life. I love his personal story about the Star Wars movie.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
He really didn't want to go, but his daughter gets him interested by explaining the whole philosophy and training of a Jedi Knight.
And by listening, by being open to her paradigm, her world.
He realized he wasn't just getting the golden egg of watching a movie he ended up enjoying. He was investing in their relationship, the goose, which was way more valuable.
It's about sustaining the capacity to produce, not just burning through output. And this applies massively in organizations, too.
Okay.
Covey makes this powerful statement. The PC principle is to always treat your employees exactly as you want them to treat your best customers.
Wow. Why?
Because, he says, you can buy a person's hand, you can buy their back, but you can't buy his heart. Their heart is where their enthusiasm, their loyalty, their creativity lies. That's your greatest production capability asset. Neglect that, and you lose everything eventually.
Okay, so character ethic, paradigms, inside out, PPC balance.
Yeah.
These are huge foundational ideas. How do they translate into the actual habits? Let's start with those private victories.
Right, the habits of self-mastery. The first is habit 1, be proactive.
Which isn't just about taking initiative, is it? It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It means recognizing our unique human capacity, that space between stimulus and response. In that space lies our freedom, our power to choose our response. It's our ability to act, not just be acted upon.
This immediately makes me think of Viktor Frankl's story. It's just incredibly powerful.
A psychiatrist imprisoned in Nazi death camps. Unimaginable suffering.
Losing his family, facing torture daily. Yet he discovered what he called the last of the human freedoms.
They could control his entire environment, everything external.
But they couldn't touch his inner choice. His ability to choose his attitude, his response to those horrific circumstances, that he realized was his ultimate freedom.
It's such a profound realization. Reactive people, Covey says, are driven by external things, their physical environment, their social environment, the social weather. They build their emotional lives around the weaknesses of other people.
Blaming circumstances or other people.
Exactly, but proactive people, they're driven by their internalized values. They can carry their own weather with them.
And practically, Covey suggests focusing on our circle of influence.
Right. Instead of dwelling on the circle of concern, all the things we worry about but can't actually control, we should put our energy into our circle of influence, the things we can do something about. That's where our power lies.
He even gives us that 30-day test for proactivity, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a great challenge. For 30 days, work only in your circle of influence. Make small commitments to yourself and keep them. Be a light, not a judge. Be part of the solution, not the problem.
Work on you, on be, not just have.
Precisely. Which leads us beautifully into habit, too. Begin with the end in mind.
This is about personal leadership, right?
Yes. And it's based on the principle that all things are created twice. There's a mental or first creation, and then a physical or second creation.
Like building a house. You don't just start hammering nails. You have a blueprint first.
Exactly. That blueprint is the first creation, the leadership part. It answers the question, what are the things I really want to accomplish? Before you get into the management part, which is, how can I best accomplish these things?
It's that vivid metaphor he uses. Management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall.
Such a great image. You could be incredibly efficient climbing, but if it's the wrong wall, it's all wasted effort. So what's the most powerful way to apply this? To figure out the right wall?
Covey suggests a really profound emotional exercise. The funeral visualization.
Okay, tell us about that.
You imagine your own funeral, say 3 years from now,
Yeah.
and you think deeply about what you would want different people, family, friends, colleagues, community members, to sincerely say about your character, your contributions, the difference you made in their lives.
Wow, that sounds intense, but powerful.
It really is. It helps you connect with your deepest, most fundamental values.
Well,
Those values then become the foundation for creating your personal mission statement.
Your personal constitution, a guide for everything.
Exactly. A clear sense of purpose and values to guide your daily decisions. This also connects to the idea of re-scripting.
Changing the scripts we live by.
Yeah, we all have scripts, often handed down to us through upbringing or society. But because we're self-aware, because we have imagination and conscience, we can examine those scripts. We can see if they align with our deepest values. And if not, we can change them. We can write new ones. The story of Anwar Sadat is incredible here.
Isn't it? Deeply scripted in hatred for Israel, yet in a prison cell, he consciously re-scripted himself to become a peacemaker.
Leading to the Camp David Accords. Affecting millions. That's the power of changing your internal script.
Absolutely. And that brings us right to habit 3. Put first things first. This is personal management.
The second creation.
Yeah.
Making it happen day to day.
Exactly. This is the practical execution, the day in, day out, moment by moment doing it that brings habits 1 and 2 to life.
And this is where the famous time management matrix comes in, right?
Yeah.
Urgent versus important.
That's the one. He divides activities into 4 quadrants. Quadrant first is urgent and important crises, deadlines, problems. We spend a lot of time here.
Yeah, fighting fires.
Quadrant third is urgent but not important interruptions, some calls, emails, other people's minor issues. Quadrant fourth is not urgent and not important trivia, time wasters, escape activities.
Where should we be focusing?
The heart of effective personal management, Covey stresses, is quadrant 2. Not urgent, but important.
What kind of things fall in there?
Things like prevention, planning, relationship building, exercise, learning, recognizing new opportunities, building that PC, the production capability we talked about.
Stuff that's easy to put off because it's not screaming for attention right now.
Exactly. But it's the stuff that makes all the difference long term. To really focus on crucial quadrant 2 activities, you have to learn to say no to other things, even seemingly urgent things or things that feel good but aren't the best.
That takes courage and clarity about what your yes is.
It requires having that bigger yes burning inside, rooted in your habit 2 mission and values, because, as Covey says, the enemy of the best is often the good.
He also talks about a specific way to delegate here, right? Stewardship delegation.
Yes, and this is so powerful. Instead of delegating methods telling someone exactly how to do something, which is common.
Micromanaging.
Yeah, basically. Stewardship delegation focuses on results. You clarify the desired outcome, the what, but you give the person responsibility and freedom on the how. You define clear expectations, guidelines, resources, accountability, and consequences up front.
The example of him teaching his young son to manage the yard is fantastic.
It really illustrates it. He defined the result, green and clean. He provided training and resources, but then, crucially, he stepped back and became his son's helper, not his supervisor.
And the son took ownership.
Completely. He signed the agreement in his heart, Covey says, and the yard became greener and cleaner than it had ever been because it was built on trust and empowerment, not just compliance. Trust, Covey notes, is the highest form of human motivation.
Okay, so habits 1, 2, and 3 are the private victories. Building that foundation of character and self-mastery, now we move outward.
Exactly. We transition into the public victories, the habits of interdependence, building effective relationships. And the foundation for this is another powerful metaphor, the emotional bank account.
Like a regular bank account, but for relationships.
Precisely. You build up a reserve of trust through deposits, and that creates a feeling of safeness, of goodwill. Then, when challenges or misunderstandings happen, inevitable withdrawals, you have a buffer. But if the account is low or overdrawn,
Things fall apart quickly.
right, deposits build trust, withdrawals erode it.
And Covey outlines specific ways to make these deposits.
He highlights 6 major ones. Number 1, and maybe the most important, is understanding the individual. What constitutes a deposit for one person might be totally meaningless, or even a withdrawal for another. You have to understand them.
Like the friend who hated baseball but took his son constantly.
Exactly. Because he liked his son that much, that was a huge deposit for the son. Second, attending to the little things. Small kindnesses, courtesies, moments of thoughtfulness, they make huge deposits over time. Conversely, small uncaring acts can make big withdrawals.
In relationships, the little things are the big things.
That's the quote. Third, keeping commitments. Making a promise creates hope. Breaking it is a major withdrawal. Fourth, clarifying expectations. So many relationship problems stem from ambiguous or unstated expectations. Making them explicit up front, even if it takes courage, saves massive pain later.
Fifth is showing personal integrity. This means being loyal to people who aren't present. If you gossip about someone behind their back, the person you're talking to knows you do the same to them. It destroys trust.
Deeply. And sixth, apologizing sincerely when you make a withdrawal. A quick, genuine apology, acknowledging your mistake and its impact, can be a huge deposit and restore trust quickly.
Okay, so building that emotional bank account is crucial groundwork. How does that lead into the next habits?
It sets the stage perfectly for habit 4. Think win-win.
Not win-lose or lose-win,
Yeah.
but win-win.
Right. It's a frame of mind and heart that constantly seeks mutual benefit in all human interactions. It sees life as a cooperative arena, not a competitive one.
This requires an abundance mentality, doesn't it? Believing there's plenty for everyone.
Absolutely. Win-win flows from believing that one person's success doesn't have to come at the expense of another's. This is the opposite of a scarcity mentality, which sees life as a zero-sum game, fostering competition and comparison.
And Covey adds an important option here. Win, win, or no deal.
Yes. This is incredibly freeing, especially in ongoing relationships. If you can't find a solution that genuinely works for both parties, where both feel good about it, then it's better to agree to disagree respectfully, no deal, than to push for a solution that leaves one person feeling resentful or uncommitted.
That prevents future withdrawals from the emotional bank account.
Exactly. And for win-win to really take root, especially in organizations or families, the systems, things like compensation, recognition, planning, have to support it. You can't talk win-win, but reward win-lose behavior.
Makes sense. The structure has to align with the philosophy. Now, this leads us to probably one of the most challenging habits for many people.
Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Oh, this one is huge. It's such a fundamental shift.
It really is, because our default mode, Covey points out, is to seek first to be understood. We listen with the intent to reply, not to truly understand. We filter everything through our own experiences, our own autobiography.
It's like that optometrist analogy he uses. Imagine going to an eye doctor who, without examining your eyes, just hands you his own glasses and says, "Here, try these. I've worn them for years."
You'd run out of there. You wouldn't trust someone who prescribes before diagnosing. Yet we do this all the time in communication. We jump in with advice, opinions, judgments before we've truly understood the other person's perspective.
So what's the alternative? What does seeking first to understand actually look like?
It involves developing the skill of empathic listening. This is the highest level of listening, going beyond just hearing words.
It's more than just active listening, like repeating back what they said.
It's deeper. Empathic listening involves not just rephrasing the content of what someone says, but also reflecting the feeling behind the words. You're listening with your ears, eyes, and heart. You're trying to see the world as they see it, to understand their paradigm.
Giving them psychological air.
Exactly. When people feel truly heard and understood, it's like they can finally breathe, they stop being defensive, they open up, and you can get to the real issues. It creates this incredible soul-to-soul flow, as Covey describes it.
The example he gives of the father and his teenage son talking about school really drives this home.
It's a classic. The father's initial responses are totally autobiographical, advising, probing, evaluating, interpreting based on his own experience.
And the son just shuts down, right? Puts up walls.
Completely. But then the father shifts gears. He starts practicing empathic listening. He just reflects back what he hears the son saying and feeling. So you feel like school's a waste of time. You're feeling really frustrated.
And the change is immediate.
It's transformative. The son feels understood, the tension dissolves, and he starts opening up layer by layer until he gets to the real underlying issue. And then, amazingly, he asks his father for advice.
Because the father earned the right to give it by listening first, they got on the same side of the table to solve the problem together.
Precisely. This also connects to the ancient Greek philosophy of influence, ethos, pathos, and logos.
Character, empathy, and logic.
Right. Ethos is your personal credibility, the trust you inspire. Pathos is the empathetic side, aligning with the other person's feelings. Logos is the logic, the reasoning part of your presentation. Covey stresses that for true influence, the sequence is vital. Ethos first, then pathos, then logos.
But most people jump straight to logos, trying to win with logic.
Exactly. Without first building trust, ethos, and understanding pathos, logic alone often fails or even creates resistance.
Okay, so building trust with the emotional bank account, aiming for win-win, and then genuinely understanding through empathy, that builds a pretty strong foundation for working together.
It absolutely does, and it leads directly to habit 6, synergize.
Synergy. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. It's about creative cooperation. It's about valuing differences, mental, emotional, psychological, and seeking solutions together that are better than what any one person could have come up with alone. It's creating new alternatives, something that wasn't there before.
This sounds like the highest activity in all life, as Covey puts it, but maybe also the most unpredictable.
It can be. Creative endeavors often are. It requires enormous personal security stemming from habits 1, 2, and 3. It requires openness, a spirit of adventure, and a tolerance for ambiguity because you don't know exactly where it will lead.
He gives that example of a university class where synergy just took over.
Yeah, where the professor created an environment of trust and vulnerability, and the students started feeding on each other's insights. They co-created a learning experience that went far beyond the original syllabus. That synergy, that culture, apparently did not end with the semester.
It's about actively fishing for a third alternative, isn't it? Moving beyond your way or my way to find our way, a better way.
Like the couple where the husband wants a fishing trip and the wife wants to visit her ailing mother. Instead of a compromise where nobody's really happy or one person wins.
If they have high emotional bank accounts, think win-win and use empathic listening.
They create the perfect environment for synergy. They pool their desires, understand the deeper needs behind them, and work together to find a third alternative that truly satisfies both, maybe in a way they hadn't even considered before.
And this applies even in really tough conflicts, like legal disputes.
Covey gives examples where seemingly irreparable disputes were resolved in hours or days, not through compromise, but by genuinely applying habits 4, 5, and 6. The synergistic solutions were often better than what either side had initially proposed.
It taps into that idea of whole brain thinking, right? Using both the logical left brain and the creative right brain.
Yes. Synergy integrates analysis and intuition, logic, and creativity. It leads to what Covey calls psychic synergy within ourselves, and it allows us to truly value differences in others, realizing that two people can disagree and both be right. They're just seeing different aspects of the same reality through their unique paradigms.
Wow. Okay, so habits 1 through 6 cover personal mastery and effective interaction with others. What's left?
The habit that makes all the others possible. Habit 7, sharpen the saw.
Ah, the renewal habit, keeping the tools sharp.
Exactly. This is ultimate personal production capability, PC. It's about preserving and enhancing the greatest asset you have. It's the habit of self-renewal.
And this isn't just about taking a vacation, is it? It's more structured.
Much more. It requires regularly and consistently exercising all 4 dimensions of our nature. First, the physical dimension.
Taking care of your body.
Right. Through good nutrition, rest, stress management, and consistent exercise focusing on endurance like aerobics, flexibility, stretching, and strength. Crucially, Covey notes, exercising our physical body also builds our habit one muscles of proactivity, our self-discipline, self-esteem, and integrity.
Okay, physical. What's next?
Second, the spiritual dimension. This is about connecting to your core, your center, your value system. It provides leadership to your life.
How do people do this?
It varies greatly. For some, it's prayer or meditation. For others, it's immersing themselves in great literature or music or spending time in nature. It's about renewing that commitment to your deepest values, finding peace and guidance. Covey mentions that the greatest battles are often fought out daily in the silent chambers of the soul.
Third dimension.
The mental dimension. This is about keeping your mind sharp, continuing to learn and grow intellectually. Beyond formal education, this involves things like serious reading, exploring new subjects, analytical thinking, visualizing, planning, and writing.
So actively engaging your mind, not just passive consumption like, say, too much TV.
Exactly. It's about wisely managing your mental diet and continually expanding your mind.
And the fourth dimension.
The social-emotional dimension. This overlaps significantly with habits 4, 5, and 6, but habit 7 focuses on renewing this dimension intrinsically. It happens through things like service, contributing to others, building relationships based on the other habits, and also through scripting others positively.
What does he mean by scripting others?
It means seeing and reflecting the potential, the inherent worth in other people, believing in them, sometimes even when they don't believe in themselves, like the character Don Quixote in Man of La Mancha, who saw the noble lady Dulcinea in a common street woman, or studies showing how teachers' expectations dramatically affect student performance. It's about seeing the goose in others.
That's powerful. So Sharpen the Saw is about balancing and renewing all four dimensions regularly.
Yes, Covey emphasizes that investing a minimum of 1 hour a day in the renewal of the physical, spiritual, and mental dimensions is what he calls the daily private victory.
An hour a day. Sounds like a lot.
It might initially, but he argues it's the single most powerful quadrant 2 investment you can make. It's completely within your circle of influence, and it leverages all the other hours of your day. It builds the strength, resilience, and capacity needed to practice all the other habits effectively, especially when facing challenges.
So it's the foundation that keeps everything else going strong.
It is. And this continuous process of learning, committing, and doing across all the habits leads to what Covey calls the upward spiral of growth.
Moving to higher and higher planes.
Exactly. You revisit the principles, but on a higher level, with deeper understanding and commitment each time. This leads to greater personal freedom, security, wisdom, and power. But there are no shortcuts. The law of the harvest applies to all personal growth. Learn, commit, do. Learn, commit, do. Continuously.
Wow, we've covered so much ground. From understanding our internal maps, our paradigm,
To claiming our proactive power to choose our response.
to building trust through the emotional bank account and seeking win-win.
Learning to truly understand others before trying to be understood.
Creating synergy, those amazing third alternatives.
And finally, the crucial ongoing practice of renewing ourselves in all dimensions, sharpening the saw.
It really is a profound framework. These principles aren't quick fixes, are they? They're a deep inside-out path to lasting effectiveness and ultimately greater happiness and fulfillment.
Absolutely. It's a lifelong journey of growth.
So as you, our listeners, reflect on this deep dive today, maybe consider this. In this world overflowing with information and quick fixes, what map might you be carrying that's perhaps leading you slightly off course? And what one small act of daily renewal, maybe starting today, could ignite your own quantum change?